How's it going, everybody? As you can see, we're back finally once again. In terms of episode chronology, I'm not really sure if you want to count this as episode 2 of season 2 that we kind of tried to do before, brand new season altogether, or what have you. But really, semantics aside, it doesn't matter. What matters is the here and now. And we're going to start things off right now with a brand new recipe. The Yoshoku, or Chaliapine steak. Our ingredients for this dish are fairly sparse. We'll need some soy sauce, some mirin, rice wine vinegar, 1 small yellow onion, 2 peeled cloves of garlic, 1 fresh steak of your choice, New York, sirloin, anything goes really, salt and pepper, and some butter. For tools, we'll just need a meat tenderizer, a good sharp knife as usual, and plenty of plastic wrap. Oh, and if you like, some fresh steamed rice set aside for later. First, we'll start with the onion, since it accounts for about 50% of the overall dish itself. To make things easier, trim off both ends of it, but be careful with the root end. Just don't cut it off entirely. Just enough to remove the dried and dirty tendrils. Then split it in half from end to end. Lay it flat and make several cuts into it towards the root end, but not going all the way through it. Then make a horizontal slice, again leaving the very end intact. Finally, just chop it up into small pieces and set aside. Next comes the steak. Lay out 3 pieces of plastic wrap. And lay your steak of choice on top. Then cover it with another 3 pieces of wrap. And pound it flat on both sides. Remove it from the wrapping and trim off any excess fat and gristle. Next, take a sharp knife and carefully make several shallow cuts in the meat in a crisscross grid pattern, almost like mock grill marks. Again, shallow cuts. Don't go too deep or you'll cut through the meat entirely. Then, repeat on the other side. Now, take the diced onions and pile them on top of the steak, covering it as much as possible and making sure to gently press them into the cuts we've made. We'll let this sit for about 15 minutes. Did you know that the history of this steak dates back to 1936? Its name comes from a famous Russian opera singer, Fyodor Chaliapin. The story details that while staying in a hotel in Japan, he requested a steak that was extra tender, due to him suffering a toothache at the time. The chef devised the method we're using right now, and the singer absolutely loved it. I first heard about this recipe through a cooking-themed manga series called Shokugeki no Soma, or Food Wars in English. While the dish in the book is a different take on the classic, it still follows the formula of taking a piece of meat and tenderizing it through pounding and the use of minced onions. The series itself is actually very informational and accurate in terms of its cooking-based content. If you can get past a lot of the weird stuff, I highly recommend reading or watching it. Once 15 minutes have passed, scrape off the onions. Flip the steak over. And cover it again, letting it sit for another 15 minutes afterwards. Scrape off all, if not most of the onions, and set them aside once again. Now we'll move on to the actual cooking. First, let's preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Add a tablespoon and a half of butter to a frying pan and set it to melt on high heat. Add the onions and set the heat to medium-low. Mince up the garlic. And add it to the onions with a pinch of salt. We're going to slowly caramelize the onions for a bit. Again, keep the heat low and stir them often. Once the onions have browned considerably, turn the heat up to high and add half a cup of soy sauce, followed by half a cup of mirin. Reduce the liquid briefly, and then add in a teaspoon of rice wine vinegar. Remove the pan from the heat and set the onion mixture aside. Then clean out your pan and set it back onto the stove with a tablespoon of fresh butter ready to melt. Salt and pepper your meat on both sides. And once the butter is melted and foaming, add the steak to the pan. Cook it on both sides for 1.5 to 2 minutes. Then place it in the oven for about 2 minutes to finish. Plate the steak and then top it with the onion mixture. Serve it with a bowl of fresh steamed rice and get ready to enjoy a new taste sensation. Okay. What did I tell you? Quick and simple, right, folks? You know, I gotta say, it really does feel good being back and doing this kind of stuff again as usual. Also, as usual, thanks again to SenjiCon for helping to sponsor and showcase these videos. We'll be trying to do more updates as we usually did before, you know, time permitting, of course. We all have our own individual lives and jobs we have to attend to. So, like I said, we'll try and do more updates on a more regular basis, but, you know, time permitting. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video, of course. And be sure to follow SenjiCon, AK Pirate Prince, and Harland Productions on Facebook as well. Now, what was the old saying again? Oh, that's right. Bon appetit, itadakimasu, and happy cooking.